Welcome in, everybody. It is another episode of the Scarves and Spikes Player Ratings Show. We are back live, yeah, and we're not doing this one pre-recorded. So you guys are going to get the whole 9 yards with how we rate everybody.
Yes, indeed.
So it's a good day. First of all, coming off of a win, coming off of a busy weekend of soccer in general, but most importantly, Atlanta got the win. We're going to talk about it.
The away win at that, yeah.
The away win at that. And we're going to talk about a lot of it. But Sydney, how's it going?
Going well. Kind of a late night last night.
Just a little bit.
Due to the match, just a little bit. But yeah, I'm feeling, I took a nap earlier, but I'm feeling rested and ready to go. And yeah, let's do it. All right, Tommy's running a little late, but he'll be in very shortly.
He's coming in hot.
Daniel, hello. Welcome.
So, yes, and as we do these, as usual, and I'll remind everybody again before we really get kicked off, but y'all drop your ratings in the chat as well, and we'll get into them. Quick things as we wait on Tommy. Go check out the new website, scarvesandspikes.com. Super easy to remember. It's been up and running now for a couple of days. We're putting up our shows, articles that we feel like writing. Obviously myself, Sydney, we're still writing our stuff over at Dirty South Soccer as well. That's not changing. But scarvesandspikes.com is just kind of the hub for all of our stuff for this show. And we wanted you guys to have a place to go instead of just YouTube, which we want you to subscribe over to the YouTube as normal, but we needed a place of our own. So it's a good thing because it's growing and we're going in the right direction. And also, if you aren't already, we had a really good watch along last night, which is one of the benefits of being a Patreon member. So go check out patreon.com/scarves and spikes and go join us up over there and have some fun with us. So
a little housekeeping too before we get started. Y'all probably saw, but Yorgos Yakimakis was named MLS Player of the Match Day. No surprise behind his 2-goal performance against Seattle. And also named to the Team of the Week along with, was it Tristan Muyumba? Muyumba, yeah. And Gonzalo Pineda. So, Atlanta United very well represented in the Team of the Week or Team of the Match Day. And, of course, Yako being named Player of the Match Day. So, great to see. Yakimakis second in MLS, tied with several other players with 12 goals.
Yep.
Hani Mukhtar leads the league with 13 at this current point in time,
but also
with
lots
one
more
fewer
minutes.
Yeah, and one fewer match played. So plenty of time for, I guess I was going to say plenty of time for him to catch up. Obviously, it is, but at the same time, I feel like maybe those two will be kind of going at it as the season goes on. Until Messi scores like 20 goals in the next 10 matches.
He's a wild card. It is what it is. A few things about that. With Yakimakis being named Player of the Match Day, Player of the Week, whatever you want to call it, that marks the first time in Atlanta United history that Atlanta has had 3 Players of the Week, Players of the Match Day in a season. So you had
interesting
Almada, then you had Caleb Wiley, then you had Almada again, and now you have Yorgos Yakimakis. So, fun stat, going in the right direction, getting back in the awards column, which is great, and Pineda getting that Coach of the Week, which is great.
Yep.
That's his first time, if I'm not mistaken, the first time since September of 2021 when he first got here. So, kudos to Pineda.
Indeed. Kind of to give you guys a little preview of who we'll be talking about. So, Shante Silva will be talking about him, obviously, making his debut with Atlanta United. Tristan Muyumba will be talking about him, making his MLS debut, not his debut with Atlanta United, but his debut in an MLS match. Luis Abram, Eder Mosquera, and Gonzalo Pineda will kind of rate the coaching performance of Gonzalo last night. We're going to leave Yakimakis off. It's kind of low-hanging fruit. I feel like we all be in agreement with the kind of score that he'd get. But, yeah, that's who we're going with.
He was an
Um,
easy one.
say that again.
I said he was an easy one. He was always going to
Yeah,
be
he
an
was an
easy one.
easy one. He was an easy one. So we're not going to talk about him. But yeah, good feelings around Atlanta United land, Tyler. At least for the time being. Now you have Nashville coming in, and we'll talk about it on Wednesday.
Yep.
We want to kind of focus today on player ratings and things like that. So yes, we see you all in the chat. Please comment. Let us know how you're doing, how you're feeling, and we'll kind of get rolling with the player ratings here shortly when Tommy gets in here.
Yep. So Wednesday, we are working on a guest from MLS. It should be a good one. So as usual, y'all come back Wednesday, 7 o'clock Eastern. We're back to Eastern time and not that good old fashioned Pacific Northwest,
Yeah,
Western Pacific time. Terrible, 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 terrible. Last night was
terrible.
late. Terrible. And then after this, that's the other thing. We haven't even gotten to that yet. After this, we're going to be jumping over to actually do the Twitter Spaces show for Dirty South Soccer that we didn't do last night because it was so late. So if you haven't got enough of us talking, you can come over and listen to us and actually join in on the conversation there. So, Omar, I know
Yes.
the twos are playing right now as well.
Playing
I
Crown
know.
Legacy FC, by the way, in Charlotte. Well, I
No,
think
no,
in
no. This
Matthews.
one, they got the email wrong.
Oh,
They're
they
up in
did.
New England.
Oh, they're playing Refs 2 again.
Yeah, they that email's been going out and it keeps showing Crown Legacy, and I think they just keep forgetting to change the title.
Yeah.
But no, they're playing New England.
No, they're actually playing Red Bulls 2. They play Refs 2 the last match, but tonight they're playing Red Bulls
Okay,
2
I'm just.
in New
This
Jersey.
is a bunch of misinformation. The whole thing was a bunch of misinformation.
We'll get
My
it
bad.
sorted out soon. Yeah, that just kicked off, by the way, up at MSC Soccer Park in New Jersey, I believe, in Montclair, New Jersey, to
Yeah.
be specific. So
That's
that's
right. 'Cause
going
Atlanta
on.
just got the twos just got the crap beat out of them by
Yeah,
the Revolution.
yeah,
So.
5-1. So hopefully
Yeah.
they get it right. Twos, by the way, 7 points out of a playoff spot, 28 points. Huntsville, coached by, of course, Jack Collison for Atlanta United 2, head coach on 35 points. I currently hold the seventh and final playoff spot in the East. Philly, Union 2, 33 points, just below the line. NYCFC 2, 30 points. And Atlanta United 2, again, 28 points.
They're doing the
Atlanta
thing
United, yeah, they have not won a away match all season, by the way,
now.
in regulation.
And it's
So hopefully this will
frustrating
be-
because they've been so close. I think it was the Orlando match. They had it in the bag. You know, it was one of those where they're up a man for like 60 minutes of the match, 50 minutes of the match or something. And they were ahead and they just blew it. They blew it.
Yeah.
So, but that'd be the way things go in soccer. Thankfully, this match last night was not that way. This match last night was probably overall. I've been saying it for a minute. Philadelphia, the match against Philadelphia at home was a pretty good statement win.
Mhm.
She didn't capitalize on the momentum from that.
Yeah.
This one, you're playing against one of the best teams in the league year in and year out. And I understand that Seattle's going through a rough patch as well, but they're still Seattle. They still have a lot of talent. They're still coached by one of the best managers in the league. And you go up all the way across the country and you handle business, and you handle business like in a convincing way. It wasn't perfect, not by any means. Tommy is here.
You know who else handled business? Tommy.
Tommy,
I'm here. Sorry,
Always
work
handles
calls,
business.
work stuff. I'm sorry.
that'd be what it be.
All good.
But,
All good.
Yes, so they did it last night, and we're gonna throw Tommy right into the fire.
10.
All right, yeah, I agree. I'll give it a 9.8.
Ted's
it's
all
10.
around.
Mostly.
All right,
Yeah.
you got your Omar. Yes, they did almost score 2 goals. It'd be what it be. Soccer be like that. But the most important thing is you didn't give up
That's
a goal.
football.
Clean sheet happened. So, all right, we will dive straight into it with. I feel like it's the first time we've done this in a minute, man.
Stretching the
All right.
fingers. Let's go.
Shonda
Shonda Silva.
And I didn't think he was going to start this game.
Yeah.
I actually found out his real his actually given first name is something long. I gotta look it up now
Oh
that
yeah,
I mentioned it.
it's a long because he's
It's
Portuguese.
Brazilian. Yeah, Portuguese. Alexandra Nascimento de Costa e Silva. I don't know. I think it's
Yep.
pronounced that way. Don't
I
quote me
love
on
when you
that.
pronounce things. Like, you
I
could just be
probably
saying it
butchered
wrong on purpose, and like I just
I've
don't
heard-
know. So I trust you.
Alrighty, y'all got it. Here we go.
Yes. Let's go. Oh, hold on. There we go.
We have some things
Oh,
in
I
the
was
way
the
here.
highest.
Once in
Wow,
the way.
okay.
7.9 for me. Sydney with a 7 even. Tommy with an 8.2.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, excuse me, nothing bad for Silva, or Shande Silva, or Shande. Yeah, nothing bad. It's just that, it's his first match with Atlanta United, and frankly, Muyumba set the bar because he looked so good against Cruz Azul a few weeks ago. So he kind of set the bar high. So, I didn't think. Yeah, he had some very strong moments. Shante had some very strong moments out in the wing, and it's what you hope for from your wingers. That being said, I docked him a few points because you can tell that he still needs to build that chemistry with his forward partners, which will come with time, which will come with training. I think he's had a week or so or less than that of training with Atlanta United, so I could be wrong on that, but he's still new into the team and getting his feet underneath him. In that standpoint, the good news is I believe that I think he went through preseason with Dijon before he came with Atlanta, so
Yep.
so he's fit. It's not like he's hasn't played in months or anything like that, so that's a plus. So I thought he looked good. It's something to build off of. Nashville will be a test, obviously, and it'll be in front of your home fans, 70,000 plus in the Derby. So we'll see what he can offer there, and we'll see what he can offer with Saba presumably being available for selection on Saturday as well. His visa did come in. I saw Dan ask that earlier. So his visa is there. He'll be introduced to the media this week. Yep. So looking forward to, I wrote about this, looking forward to seeing what this Yakimakis, Saba, Shande, Almada attack looks like. Because if they can get on the same page quickly, and they'll need to because there's 9 matches left. Omar, I saw your rating there, by the way. Yeah, it's going to need to be quick because there's 9 matches left, starting with Nashville on Saturday. So you don't have time to waste to get these guys on the same page. It'll need to happen quickly. So let's hope that things don't get to a point where match 5, we're still talking about Shande Silva still needing to gain momentum and gel with his teammates, because that will be an issue. But yeah, good debut. Good start in MLS for Shande.
Shanda Silva. Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I think I gave him a little extra because he just looked aggressive. He looked exciting and excited to be there. He was off the ball, making moves. He was not afraid to dribble at defenders. He had 3 shots on goal. I mean, you look at other players that have been on this team this year and how many shots they've put on goal and how much time they've played.
Who are you talking about?
I'm not naming names, but there's a handful. Actually, it would be names plural, not one. 3 shots on goal in his first 66 minutes in an Atlanta United kit. I'm here for it because they're going to go in at some point soon, I think. He and the fact that he can switch, he can play both sides. That's big. That's a big deal. And was he perfect? No. I mean, he's definitely settling in still, but to get dropped in the way he did, just like we're going to probably see with Saba Lobjanidze next week. The way he got dropped in away 3,000 miles away from where you've just moved to overseas, goes up, handles business on that wing in a way that we really haven't seen effectively this year. Did he get a goal? No, but he's putting shots on target, which is 90% of the battle. And yeah, I mean, it was enjoyable. I think he brought energy, and you could tell that his speed and his aggression definitely helped, even though he wasn't getting necessarily involved in the goal scoring chances necessarily. He was making it a point to keep that side occupied, and that opened up a lot of space for Thiago Almada, a lot of space. And it was kind of odd, actually. I thought Almada didn't maybe capitalize on it like you expect him to, but he did put in a freaking dime to Yakimakis for the second goal. So, and that's all Almada needs is just that little bit of space, one moment. He can be a game changer. Well, Sean Da Silva, with his movements on that side, opened up that space for him. So it's fun to see, and I'm just excited for him.
We need to stress that there are 3 shots on target. I know you said that, but we just need to stress that there are shots on target.
Yes.
Shots on goal.
Shots on target.
Just
not shots.
putting it out there.
50th
just putting
row.
it out there. Talking about no one in particular, by the way.
No.
Louise. Sorry, Tommy, go ahead.
I'd say he attacked the defenders, which was great to see. He wasn't scared of going in against them, and he looked creative. But the thing, this has nothing to do with him because I think you guys pretty much said it all. How far in the depth chart is Etienne now?
I mean, I think next week will be very telling.
Yeah.
But
is he in the lineup next week? You got a lot of wingers.
I think he'll be in the lineup.
Yeah, he'll be on the team sheet. But
do you think he plays?
Personally,
does he get the Moreno treatment and doesn't play?
I don't think he'll play.
I don't see him playing for the rest of the year. Like at this point, like you have depth, you've got quality depth. Tyler Wolf came on, right?
Yeah. Mosquera
just
started.
Interesting. Yeah, and Mosquera started exactly.
Yeah.
Like nobody expected that, and it seemed like it was the right choice. His speed definitely caused issues. We'll get there in a minute, but still, it's just it makes me think like, okay, this guy's been here for a cup of coffee, and he's already way ahead of your big signing of the offseason. Maybe maybe that buyout for him isn't the craziest thing in the world.
The thing, I mean, you say that he's, been beat out on the depth chart, but I would argue that he's beat himself out. He just hasn't been effective, and I hate it because I like the guy and I want him to succeed. And I feel like that's the story of this team so much this year. But, I mean, Mosquera provides something that's a little more than Etienne right now, which is speed. And again, like you said, we'll talk about it. But yeah, I don't think it's so much that Mosquera is doing something like that much better. It's just that Etienne has had his opportunities for the whole year and just hasn't done anything. And at some point, you got to make a change.
True. What was your score on Silva again? Shande again? Tommy?
Oh, 8.2.
8.2? Okay. Why 8.2?
You're just flashy new player. I was like, ooh, like...
Still shining.
And it was the combination of just everything looking good, I think, and that's why like everybody's just gonna get a couple points higher because I just had fun. I had fun watching this team, okay, guys? I haven't had fun watching this team for like 6-7 games, okay? It's been just boring. Like you just are like, ooh, look at that pass. Ooh, we're moving forward. We're not passing backwards nonstop. Ooh, no. Everybody's getting just a couple extra points for me just because I had fun last night.
Everybody's buzzing around.
And I got lack of sleep. I took a caffeine pill like at 3:00 today to stay up for this. So I'm like Jesse Spano from Saved by the Bell. Oh, yeah. So excited.
Are you scared though?
Not yet.
I'm not scared. Okay.
So FOTMob giving the new guy a 7.1. They're obviously
close.
Not altered by his newness on our team.
He didn't have fun last night? Okay.
Whoever was doing this thing for FOTMob, whatever, yes, sucked.
They hate fun.
Really quickly, because this is a live show and it's a little different than we normally do, I just want to hit on this by Omar because I think it's something that'll kind of tie into something we'll talk about in a minute. What's the chance that we go to 2 strikers this year with Shonda earning the spot with Yako or even beat Yako for it? First of all, I don't think anybody on this team is going to beat Yako as the starting number 9 at all.
No.
It wouldn't be Shonda,
Yeah,
though
no.
Shonda could get put up there in a pinch. The one that I think if Pineda doesn't seem to be the guy that's like super fond of like a 3-5-2 or something, but if he were to do it, I actually think that would be about Yako and Jamal Tiare, who's the new
TRA,
guy
yeah.
coming in, the one that we really haven't talked about much at all. But that could be definitely a possibility, especially if you're trailing in a game and you have to get a goal. You stick him up there with Yako and just see what flies. So that's
Yeah.
a lot of attacking firepower on the pitch.
Yeah, I could see that. It depends. TRA hopefully will be here on Saturday, and hopefully you won't need him for a while. But yeah, if he does switch to it, yeah, it'll be definitely Yakamakis and TRA up front for sure.
Yep.
I mean, he's only here technically for 9 games, right? This is just a loan, so he's only going to be here for, like, they can cut loose of him at the end of the season. They're going to have to see what he brings, right? You didn't just bring this guy over not to do anything, so it'll be interesting to see how they use him. And
Right.
he can
He'll
play wing
play.
too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll play.
He's going to be
Right.
the one coming on late in a match. And I really think, like, you're not going to lose as much that you do when you go from Yakamakis to Barry. So taking Yako out, who we've seen, he's been playing soccer for like 18 months straight, 19 months straight now. They're going to want to rest him as much as they can. And if he can go up and do what he did last night and get 2 goals, then he's coming out like, Joseph was in 2018. He would play 75 minutes and then get to rest for a little bit because the team was just winning at that point. But you're not losing a lot compared to what you lost when you take off Yako for Barry that you are with Yako to TRA. And I know everybody's like, oh, we haven't even seen him yet. No, I'm telling you, you're not losing as much. 100%.
Yeah, maybe something to talk about a little bit more on Wednesday.
That's not very nice. Next.
Who's next?
Nick Firmino just scored for the Twos again.
Nice.
All right, next one is going to be Tristan Muyumba.
Ooh.
I wrote my score down already.
Me too.
Ooh. The fun fact.
Winning on Tommy.
Normal number fact. I had a lot of fun. Okay. All right. Fun factor in.
Math going on up in the
8.8.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
I got a 9.8.
Damn.
Yeah.
Low
Omar.
score again.
Me and Omar, 8.8.
By the way, please chime in with your ratings as the show goes out. Omar's participating, and no one else is. I just shamed our viewers accidentally. I'm sorry, guys. Another great game from Tristan. That's 2 in a row now, and the buzz around Tristan is very, very high, and it's great. It's great to see. It's great to hear. He had there's a moment, I think Sam Jones tweeted it out, where he started an attack with just a really incisive pass up the field. So if he can do that, if he can continue to do that and provide, that quality of play that he's been providing now over the past 2 matches, he's going to be a star in MLS. Still super early. Still a long way to go, but gosh, through 2 matches, he looks really good. He looks the part, doesn't he? And again, 8 is a knock on him. It's just that maybe a 9 or a 10 would be a bit too high at this point. 10 certainly, but I think 8 really speaks to the quality of play that he provided for Atlanta United. So another really good performance for Tristan again. You're on mute, Tommy.
It's been a rough day. I'm adding a smiley face to my 8.8 because he's just great. It's something that we've missed in the midfield now for years. And there were parts of the game where he was overly aggressive, trying to get the ball, back immediately to spring it forward. There were a couple of chances. We were saying in our Zoom watch along, like, the way Seattle was playing, I thought there was going to be an opportunity where we were going to have 1 or 2 like 2-on-0 chances because he was just attacking the offensive player, trying to do a counterattack, and almost did it a couple times. Like How long do we have him for?
A
Is it
while.
3 years?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
I'm
was
gonna
he
be
was
happy.
one
I'm
that
gonna
they
be happy for 3 years
That's
because
right.
this guy's great. This is a guy you build around here. You build the midfield, and if this is step one, because I think there's one guy in the midfield we still need to replace, one position. We all know
just
who we're
one.
talking about. Well, I mean, right now this current roster, we can. But if there's one guy that we could replace, I mean, this guy is going to be the center of it, and he's really good. And he's only played 2 games, right? So this is good news for us, and it's a big step towards the future of this team for the next couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, I think y'all hit the nail on the head. For me, I know I've rarely given anybody that high of a rating, but this is more than. And let me preface it by saying this: Atlanta's midfield has been awful. We all know this. This is not new news. Like, it's been really freaking bad. We have had guest after guest after guest on our show talk about Atlanta's midfield. And I mean, Taylor Twellman was on here going on a diatribe about how they've got the same just version of a midfielder 4 times over. And then you bring in a guy like Muyumba. Atlanta United has not seen a guy like Muyumba since Darlington Nagbe left. Muyumba provides more than just a spark in the midfield. He is not going to be like the next big thing in world football as far as a midfielder is concerned, but he is exactly what this team needed because he comes in, he is not afraid to make a run. I mean, you look at like the 5th minute or whatever it was yesterday where he played a pass, a beautiful pass into the midfield and then made a run all the way to the edge of the box and was involved in getting that attacking play both started and finished. And I think it resulted in a corner. Just the guy, he does the job and he does it well. He's speedy. He's quick. He broke lines yesterday because of his speed, but he also broke lines because of his intelligence and his passing. You're talking about that one, I think it was to Almada. It was just a beautiful line breaking pass. And it was directly between 2 Sounders players, and they panicked. If you go back and watch the replay of it, the moment that pass is sent and Almada's on the end of it, they realize they just got screwed and they are off to the races with Almada. He's going to be a game changer. And I know we have Yakimakis. I know we have Almada. But what this team needed was a midfielder like Muyumba. And I think if Atlanta makes the playoffs this year, it's going to be because of that guy, not because of anybody else. He's going to be the biggest difference maker. That's my hot take for the evening, whatever. I like what I see about him. He's just he's a workhorse, it seems like. He's played 176 minutes, I think, in an Atlanta United kid, and he's barely put a foot wrong. So just I love it. I love to see it. And again, maybe it's because it's so desperate to just have a good midfielder that like really was going to make a difference. But man, it's great to see. God, it was so fun to watch. I'm so happy.
Me too.
Me too.
I love it. All right. So, Fotmob did not share quite my enthusiasm, but still enough. He got a 7.9.
Okay, I was closest again.
Yeah.
I think closest the past 2.
It's like your third job with Fotmob.
What a
Not
shock.
quite.
The lowest guys sharing the thing with the website. And then the
Who's
2
next?
T's, Tyler and Tommy, we're having fun. We're raising the scores.
Yeah. Sunshine pumping like crazy. And just to address, because I see it's been popping up in the chat, and I think one of y'all put in the chat. Yes, Jamal Tiare was a purchase, a free. He was on a free. Sean Da Silva is the one on loan. So
Okay.
yeah, that's just
It's hard to keep up with all these signings.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Now that being said,
4.
I would be totally. It's one match, but Sean Da Silva's already brought something that we didn't see before. I would not be surprised if they go ahead and exercise that purchase.
You got to cut
before the
other
year's
people,
up, you
though.
mean?
Yeah.
You're going to have to cut someone. I mean, you got Wolf. You got
Mascara.
Mascara, Etienne, Machop.
Yep.
Like you're gonna have to move on from somebody, and unfortunately, if we're looking at salary wise, it's probably gonna make sense. It's just bad. It's bad business cutting someone guy in the first year of a contract. Again, we're just saying, but if that's what it has to come to, and that's what it has to come to.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Who is next? It is. We haven't talked about him much this year, but
I know, maybe a couple times.
Yeah, maybe that. Luis Abram. And I'm just trying to figure out. This is tough, man.
The problem with defenders is like you just remember like that one really bad play that they do in the game, and it sticks in your head, saying, "What are you doing?" And that's my problem right now. Oh man.
All right.
Are you still deliberating, Tommy?
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of fun with him, so I don't know if there's a lot of points to hop up. All right.
What we got?
7. Okay.
7 for me, 6.8 for Tommy, 7.1 for Sydney.
We were all close on that one, weren't we?
Yeah. All right, Tommy, what you got?
Meh. I'm just not impressed. And now that Parkhurst has just said that he hasn't been great, it's going to stick in my head forever.
I mean, he
got burned a couple of times. Where I mean, I don't try to just think. I just remember there was the one play where he was running at one of the midfielders, and he just got burned, and the pass went over to one of the wingers, and it was like a chance where it was just completely. I mean, it could have been a goal very easily. I just haven't been impressed with him. He's just meh. And going into next year, what are you going to have at this position? Is Miles coming back? I'm just worried about it overall. And so far, from what I've seen of him, it doesn't make me feel good about going into next year as him as one of the starters. Oh, the Red Bulls scored again. Gross. It's 2-1.
It's a cluster over there.
Yuck.
It's so bad.
I mean, Abram, yeah, it wasn't a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. I think he was better than he has been. I mean, take that for what it's worth, but it was an interesting pairing between him and Miles Robinson. I would argue, and it could just be the result of the match, that he looked more comfortable with Miles than Parada has. I don't know. It was also really interesting. It feels as if the dynamic between the center backs and the wing backs last night was much more fine-tuned than it has been before. And that's not to say that everybody back there played well. I mean, we're not rating Caleb Wiley, but I thought Caleb Wiley didn't have the best game last night. So, but as far as like Miles and Abram were concerned, I think they played pretty decently off each other, and they seemed to communicate well. And if, you know, we were so patient earlier this season, and he really hasn't played a ton since we were talking about, hey, we got to give Abram some time. If Abram and Miles is the pairing for the rest of the season, I'm not mad at it if they can communicate and keep things much more organized the way they did last night. That being said, y'all know how I've felt. It's not been so much the center backs defensively that have been screwing this team. I feel like it's been the midfielders. And again, we just got into talking about Muyumba, and I feel like Muyumba has made that much better. So we'll see. I actually was surprised not to see Parada on the starting 11 last night, but I mean, it worked. At the end of the day, it worked, and you kept a clean sheet. You haven't had many of those this season, so I'm here for it.
Yeah, you kind of clench your fist and cringe. I don't know what I'm saying. You get nervous.
Something else, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know where this is going. This is
gonna sounds like
way to hear this."
You're cringing and
no. You get nervous, especially when Seattle were coming on strong in the second half. I mean, gosh, Seattle should have scored like twice at least in that half. So it kind of speaks to the fortitude of Atlanta United to not let this one slip away. I think Abram was a part of that. Tommy mentioned it briefly a little bit earlier. Did have a couple of mistakes, especially one that saw Seattle get through and nearly get on the net, get on the board. So that really sticks out. But at the same time, it wasn't a bad game. And I think Abram has taken a lot of flack from, Parkhurst included. We had him on a few weeks ago. He was very blunt about his assessment of Abram. And a lot of fans, I feel, share his mindset and his feelings around Abram. But it was a good performance, not a great performance. I mean, Abram won't be confused for a best 11 center back anytime soon. But it was a good performance. And at this point in time, considering what he's done and the form he's been in, it's better than bad. It's a performance that you needed on the road, away from Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and you did have a catastrophic collapse in the back. So,
and it's interesting because I feel like your spells last night where the team didn't look as sharp as they did the rest of the match, they were at the end of the first half and the beginning of the second half. As the second half grew on, though, I actually felt like, contrary to what Atlanta has done most recently in the past couple of years, they didn't look worse coming down to that final 10 minutes or so. I feel like they actually grew back into the game. Now, it was still, we talk about clinching. It was definitely clinching, but not as bad as it has been before. Of course, the second goal, the insurance goal, definitely made that a lot easier. But, I mean, you got a clean sheet away with Miles Robinson and Luis Abram. So you did something right. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. So, yeah, I hope he can improve and fine-tune things a little bit because you do have him for 2 years. And right now it's looking like he's going to be the senior center back if you don't pick up Parada on his loan and Miles is out. So we'll see. It's going to be very interesting, but he worked. He did the job, kept a clean sheet. That's what matters to a defender. So good, cool. Good on you. Fought Mob gave him a 7.2, actually. So a little higher than me.
We're good.
Yeah. All right. The next one, this one's going to be divisive for sure. The Mosquito, Edwin Mosquera.
I tried to put Mascara in our group chat today while I was driving, and I had Siri say it, and did it put mosquito? I'm pretty sure it did, right?
It put mosquito, yeah.
Mosquito.
I tried it like twice. Like I saw it type mosquito, said delete mascara, and it just kept putting mosquito.
To be fair, that is his nickname.
I was trying to determine whether it was autocorrect or if you meant to do it just to be funny.
No.
Well, you should have said you did it just to be funny. We have laughed at you. And
I'm not a clown.
Now Siri is getting all the credit for what happened here.
Machines are taking over. All right,
yes.
What do we got?
I already regret writing down my answer.
6.5 for me. Sydney with the 6.3. Tommy is struggling.
I had a little bit higher, 6.8.
6.8.
6.8. Okay. Mascara. I mean, it is what it is with mascara, I think. First off, we talked about it earlier. That's not very
scientific.
Yeah, first off, we talked about it earlier. I mean, what does it say about it? We don't need to go down this road again. What does it say about at the end that Edmund Mascara is essentially passed him over on the depth chart? It just, well, but I mean, and we could talk to this more, obviously, on Wednesday. We've talked about it already, but yeah, I mean, it just says a lot. It speaks volume, and all it was a fill-in for Saba. Saba's going to be there next week or Saturday, presumably. I keep saying presumably because I don't know. Um, but he'll be there, and it was just for the time being. So I don't know if you can take a lot out of his performance since we probably won't see him start, knock on wood, the rest of the season, unless, again, knock on wood, someone gets injured or is unable to go. So I'm maybe not too concerned about Mascara's performance. I think, though, that from a depth standpoint, he does provide some qualities. He won't be a starter full time, but he does provide some qualities in depth. I'm still not there as a winger. Still has some tendencies that he needs to iron out, and still hasn't scored. So Doug still doesn't owe Tyler dinner or whatever,
No, not
whatever
yet.
that is. So yeah, I mean, maybe maybe Lascara's kind of. I don't think he's hit a ceiling, but at the same time, I feel like you're not going to get a ton out of him that you haven't seen already. It seems like, and I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially considering his place on the team. He'll be the backup at worst, or at best, and maybe a 15-minute player at worst. So, yeah, not a terrible match, but not a great match. Really average from Mascara.
There's something to be said about having a guy like him that can just run at tired legs, and that's what you've got right now. And if he's the U22 that you decide to keep around come the winter time, he does have a much better group of folks to learn from.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad.
It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I mean, you've got him 4 years. Like, that's the contract that they signed for him. So I don't think they're just gonna. I mean, they're certainly not gonna use a buyout on Edwin Mosquera. Like, that's not gonna be a thing that happens. So he's in a position to grow. He's in a position to hopefully learn and develop his game and work his way up to a much better spot in the future. But he is a depth player at this point. He started last night because I think he brings something that hasn't been seen on that right-hand side, which is energy and just aggression. I mean, is he clinical? No, not by any means. But he was in the right spots. He's getting in the right places to make shots. And again, at some point, one's going to go in. You know, you can't do it if you don't take the shot. You can't catch fish if you don't ever throw a lure in the water. Like, that's just what it comes down to. He's not there yet. He will hopefully be. But for what you're quote unquote losing with him right now, it's okay because you have him as a solid depth piece. You have him as a guy that can, once Saba gets here, once Tiare gets here, and you've got that whole new set of attacking folks, you've got the makings of a kid that can definitely learn and grow. And worst comes to worst, he comes on in the 60th minute and he runs at tired legs and he creates an assist for Yakimakis or whoever, whatever. People forget last year in his, I think, 10 or 11 appearances, mostly off the bench, he had 2 assists. So it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, I see a lot of people giving him crap. Like, no, he's definitely one of the better options that you have off the bench. He shouldn't be starting right now. He started because he had to, like you said, Sydney. But that's my 2 cents.
And he didn't have to. I don't think he had to. Like you had other options. I mean, they went to a piece. I mean, Tyler Wolf has started games, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've had guys start before. They obviously saw something. I think they liked his speed, and it worked. Like you said, he got into the right spots, which was exactly what Pineda wanted. Now, Pineda obviously wanted him to maybe finish a couple of those, and it just didn't work out. Now, can Saba come in, get in these close to the same positions, and finish? I mean, this game could have very easily been 3-0 early on because Seattle didn't come alive until like the 38th minute, somewhere on there, right? And then we were dominating as far as offensive chances. I mean, you finish a couple of those, you're up 2-3-0 at half, and you're kind of planning your trip home at that point. Wasn't there. It didn't happen. Now, yeah, like you said, put him in late in a game, and he's your Jurgen Damm, that's able to come in and run people. I mean, that's how I treat my FIFA game.
But at
And he's
least
an
they
Minus
MVP.
use him
minus
as
the
opposed
social
to
media
Jurgen.
prowess of Jurgen Damm, that is.
Right, but like that's what you need, and it's still crazy when you look at now that you have a path now to Mascara being your only U22, and you really didn't have that a couple of weeks ago. You got rid of Eric Lopez. Sosa can't even be a U22 anymore. So now you've got Ibarra, who's out on loan, who hates Bocanegra, hates, so I mean, he's probably not coming back. I mean, he's been very vocal on how he feels about how this situation has been handled. So very likely he's not coming back. Now you got Mascara. That's it. And then maybe you go with which we've talked about. Maybe you go with the three traditional DP players in the future, and this is a lot easier to handle.
Yeah, and
I like him though. I like Mascara. Like I don't understand why people like we knew that he was a work in progress.
yeah,
Your U22s are a work in progress. That's what they're supposed to be. It's rare that someone comes in and just dominates. That's in that slot, right? And he hadn't played for almost a full year. So his first action, he came in, a couple games right before the Leagues Cup, maybe one game or two, and then what happened after that? Like he's been practicing with the team. I saw improvement yesterday. I thought that he looked dangerous at points. Yeah, he can't finish. Okay, he's still very young. He could still improve. He's again. It's like Eric Lopez. Eric Lopez hadn't played soccer for like a year and a half at one point, pretty much. Like it was
yeah.
like he wasn't playing at all. Let's see what this kid can do for the remainder of the season. Even if you hold on to him next season, see what happens with him. He doesn't count against your cap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's rough around the
Sure.
edges. That's part of it, and it's okay. Like you said, that's what you get out of the U22. He's also surrounded now by some of the best finishers in the league, so you hope that starts to rub off on him at some point. That's how you improve.
Like if you're up a
Yeah.
goal late in a game, like this is what Atlanta United used to do, right? They had that killer instinct when they were up a goal or two, especially at home. What would they do? The teams would be trying to score, they would counter and win 3 or 4-0.
Mhm.
This is the guy that you could come in late in the game and you could send him when they're pushing hard for that goal, and he's going to create that 2-on-1 chance that you want and send them home. Send the other
Sure.
team home.
Sure.
I gave him a couple of extra points for his intelligent yellow card that he got stopping that break. I thought that was necessary.
Nice grab of the jersey there.
Yeah, it just it shows he's learning a little thing or two. So I'm good with it. So
Yeah.
all right, Fop Mob gave him a 6.6. So definitely the
Okay.
lowest. I mean, they agree with that. For
Yeah.
reference, the only other one in the sixes was Wiley, who had a 6.8.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean,
Yeah.
Wiley, because it wasn't at his best.
Yeah.
But
Future Manchester United, Caleb Wiley.
oh yeah, I
Maybe.
know.
I don't know. After
Scouts were at
last
the
night,
match.
we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you seen Manchester United play lately?
Well. All right.
That's for another day.
That is for another. That might be a Patreon episode.
Yeah.
All right. So
Last
the last
one.
one. Moving on to one we haven't really hit on a lot either this year, and
El
that is-
Profe.
yeah, El Profe Gonzalo Pineda himself.
Is
Gotta
the
hit on the
coaching or his
sale.
outfit?
Both.
Coaching. I just put coaching.
Okay.
Do two separate ones. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. I almost showed mine. I'm ready when you guys are. I'll just sit here quietly. President Chip said 9.3, by the way.
9.3. Wow.
Yeah. You guys get done writing your novels. Go ahead and show. Omar 7.2, Brandon 7 exactly, needs word tracksuit.
All right. I'm ready.
You guys ready?
Let's go.
9.
9 for me. Tyler, 9 for the football, 8.7 on the fit. And Tommy, 7. Wow.
I
Wow.
want to hear.
I
Spill
think
it.
it was any. Um, he had better play. Nothing really changed. I don't think that much. He just had better players that were playing at the positions. Like I don't know if this is much different than what we've had before. It's just he's got more talent here. I don't like. I didn't see a huge change in how they play or anything like that. They've been trying to do what they've wanted to. It's just now you have better players that are doing it. So I don't know. I don't. When we saw the Philadelphia game and he made those big changes, I gave him a huge. I would have given him like a 9.5 for that game. That was fantastic. He made some changes, ballsy moves there. They won. This is just he stuck to the game plan, but he's gaining more talent, which is what the front office wants to do, right? They want to give Pineda a chance to keep this job, to keep him moving forward. He's gained two very strong pieces. And then he's got, thank you, DH. Thank you, Brandon, for agreeing with me here. Omar was close with me, 7.2. But like they're trying to get him to succeed. He's got two more players to come in, right? That's great. Like let's see what he could do with them. But I don't know. I thought it was mostly on the players,
I mean,
not the coaching.
I don't completely disagree with you. But you need to have a really sound game plan going into going on the road across the country and only having won twice all season long away from Mercedes-Benz Stadium and really with very little margin of error or margin for error to drop matches that you should, especially with very tough teams ahead. Like Nashville on Saturday, Cincinnati twice, and we've been through it numerous times. So you need a really sound game plan. You need to really punch Seattle in the mouth. We know that they struggled to score. Their form hasn't been all that great. I mean, they play in a conference that's really compressed standings-wise, so maybe that flatters them a little bit. I think if they were in the Western or Eastern Conference, I think that I'm just checking this in real time. So they would be on 36 points in 8th place in the East. And here they are, 4th place in the West. Again, a very compressed conference. So
this isn't your grandma Seattle.
Yeah, it's not your grandma Seattle. Well,
Isn't even your mother's Seattle.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a Seattle team that, are average at best. And you need to go in and really, again, punch them in the mouth and really put them on the back foot early. And I think they did that. We talked about the second half. Second half wasn't great. You nearly let Seattle get back into it. But again, this is a team that has struggled to score. And it showed, like, how in the world was it at least not 2-1 for Atlanta. So, yeah, I do take that into account. But again, all said, it was a strong match for the most part. You did what you had to do. You scored 2 really good goals. And again, the game plan was, for the most part, sound. So credit to Pineda for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason I gave him such a high number, there's a couple of factors. One, the lineup yesterday. Now, granted, Sean Da Silva could have been a coin flip because I think you're always going to want to put him in, but we just didn't know considering his fitness and how recently he had been here. Abram over Parada was interesting to me. Mascara over Etienne was interesting to me. It indicates to me, at least in the very short little bit that we've seen, that maybe he's being a bit more pragmatic and realizing he can't just stick with the same when the same isn't working. He's had 3 weeks to think about it. He's had 3 weeks to really analyze things and figure out, you know, what he needed to do. The caveat to that is when Pineda has a lot of time to prepare for an opponent, he seems to do very well. And that goes to the, El Profe kind of the nickname and everything we heard about him coming over here from Seattle. He seems to be extremely intelligent when he has the time to prepare. It's when you start getting into that fixture congestion where maybe he doesn't have the time to explain to an opponent or to the team about the opponent, the fine tune, like little certain parts. I mean, he even said last night in the post-match press conference, he was asked about the style that they played where he had the fullbacks moving up almost into like a midfield role, and it was compared to Manchester City. And he came back and he was like, this is something that we scouted with Seattle specifically, and it's something we want to do when it's appropriate. But even then, he was like, first of all, like, you got to understand, we're not Pep Guardiola. Like he definitely made it a point to be like, all right, well, this is not what we're trying to do here. That's a whole different beast. But it was nice to see some pragmatism. That being said, if he can come out and do it against Nashville and, move forward for these last 9 games to where, all right, now you're back in the thick of it and you don't have all that time to prepare, because you go back to the Philly match and we've talked about it on here. What did Brooks Lennon say after the Philly match? We had more time to look at film than we've ever had. And then you go and you beat Philly.
Good point.
You had 3 weeks. You beat Seattle. So if he can come out after this and continue this consistency, then yes, it's like you said, Tommy, it's definitely on the players as well, because you just got more quality there. But it also means that the front office is getting what Pineda's trying to do, hopefully, and getting them the right players. And then the players are actually executing. So this is like, we go back to the thing that we did for the midseason review and everything on Patreon, where it was like, oh, let's play the blame game. Whose fault is it? Is it the players, the front office, or is it the coach? It's a little bit of everybody.
Yeah.
Well, when they all three work together, good things can happen. Now, this is one game. You're coming off of like a 5-game losing streak, 4-game losing streak. You gotta really like string some wins together now. A winning streak would be wonderful.
Right.
But I'm excited. I'm excited what I saw yesterday, and I'm excited that he made changes when he did, and he had the cojones enough to say, all right, Derek Etienne, you haven't been it. You're on the bench. Parada, we've had some issues. Mm-hmm. You're also on the bench. I'm cool with it.
Yeah. So we're going to continue this conversation on Spaces. And if you're watching this after the fact, and if you don't know, we do Twitter Spaces on Dirty South Soccer at Dirty South SOC.
X Spaces.
X Spaces. I guess that's what it's called now.
At least with this X and not the other X.
Yeah. But yeah, we do that we do that after every match. We didn't do it last night because of the late hour, the late time frame. But yeah, we do it after every match. So join us on the Dirty South Soccer Twitter or X feed. I can't get used to saying that.
Twitter.
Yeah, twitter.com/Dirty South SOC. And again, if you're listening, I'm sorry, if you're watching like a day or so later, I mean, that holds true for the Nashville match. We'll be back after the Nashville match for Spaces. But we'll be back here on Wednesday, guys, live.
With a guest, I think.
With a guest, possibly.
Yep. But it's been a good one.
Yeah, it's been fun.
You got some good stuff. And yeah, we'll be moving over.
Different players to talk about, which is nice.
It's refreshing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yakamaka's got a 10. Spoiler.
Yes.
That's why we didn't talk about him. We got a 10.
Yeah, he was easy. He was definitely the easy one. David, I see the question you just asked. Brandon, I see the question you just asked. Y'all go over to Twitter and come listen to us. We'll talk about that a little bit too.
Yes, please. Sure.
And then y'all can talk as well. That's the beauty of X/Twitter. You can jump in, have your voice heard. So, all right, scarvesandspikes.com. Go check it out if you haven't already. Go to the Patreon, patreon.com/scarvesandspikes. Make sure you're subscribed here on YouTube and or Twitch or both, please. Mm-hmm. And we will see you guys soon.
Bye.
Peace.
OnlyFans.com/scarvesandspikes.
No.
He said no.
I'm trying to make it happen.
Emphatically no.
That's a little under the table. I didn't know about that one.
I'm gonna
steer clear with that one.
I did 4 push-ups. It's for something.
Patreon.com/Scarves and Spikes too, by the way.
Yes.
/
That's
OnlyFans.
for real. No, not / OnlyFans. Adios.
Peace.